Welcome back to Jules and Katie Tapping Tip for 2020. Very excited to be back with you, and we hope you all had a really wonderful Christmas and New Year's. I'm Katie Walker, an advanced certified practitioner in Perth, and I'm joined by Jules.
And hi, I'm Jules Vandermaat, and I'm an EFT practitioner and trainer from Coffs Harbour in Australia.
And we have developed these series to be able to bring you some areas that impact many people's lives. And today we're going to be talking about something that over the Christmas period had a massive impact nationally within Australia. I'm on the west coast of Australia, so possibly not as close to the action or the devastation as Jules. So Jules is going to talk to us a little bit about what we're going to tap on today, and we hope that you actually take some benefit from what we're going to discuss.
Yeah, so in Coffs Harbour, the fires were pretty close to us, and it was pretty scary there for a few days, and we had our things packed and ready to leave, and fortunately the wind changed and all the fireys did a great job, and we didn't need to evacuate or anything, but we did have some friends who did. And I was actually pretty triggered around that because I was in a house fire when I was a teenager. So I had all these like little memories coming up, and I was really quite, and I had to get a good friend of mine, Alia, to come and do some tapping with me to put me back together, because I was tapping away myself and it wasn't touching the sides.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty stressful time in November for us. And then I have noticed that quite a few of my clients are also pretty triggered around the bushfires. So either they've been directly affected themselves, or they've had friends or family members. And so, yeah, it's something that I've been tapping on with regular clients, which is just different to what we're normally focusing on. Yeah. So we thought it might be useful to give a little demo of how you might tap on something like that if you're being affected.
Absolutely. I think the thing that you just touched on, Jules, for you, having been in a house fire as a child, that was what you were triggered by. And obviously, as we always say, when something is presented to us in this current day, it tends to be related to something that we've experienced in the past, or that emotion that experience is similar to something we've felt before. So as we always say, trying to be specific is really important. Today, maybe I can ask you a few questions, Jules.
I think it's just worth mentioning that, for example, in all the years of EFT training I've done, I never listed being in a house fire as a trauma. Yeah. Like I wouldn't have said I had any leftover kind of residual trauma from that event.
Yes.
Never even thought to write it down as something to put in my personal peace procedure.
Yeah.
And yet when the bushfires were on my phone, ting, 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 did this stuff come up, and nightmares, and seeing my younger self throwing the bucket of water into my bedroom which was on fire. Like, it was very it was a good personal experience for me of when people come to see us and they're being really hijacked by either a recent or old trauma. I really got a good dose of what that feels like.
Absolutely. And that was obviously buried very, very deep, and just to come up associated with that. But I think what you just said in terms of the regular messages coming through on people's phones, if your areas impacted, that in itself, the adrenaline and the amygdala being hijacked, as you just said, every time you hear that noise or see something. Because what are some of the messages that come up on the phones when you do get that message?
Oh, well, I mean, it's, on the Fires Near Me app, it's like, these are all the fires around you. And it looks, and you look in New South Wales, and it looked like the whole state was on fire, and I guess it was in a way.
Yeah.
And then you look on Facebook, and all you see is photos of these fires that look so big. You just think, how are they ever going to put them out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you do get little notifications when Fires New South Wales does or the RFS, I think they're called, when they do an announcement or they do a media thing. So you get a ping for that. and you get a ping if there's a fire in your area. So you get very kind of like around the phone.
Oh, I can't even begin to
Yeah.
imagine, but I think the other thing to touch on, even if people weren't in those areas, for family members who couldn't do anything, and that sense of helplessness, and I'm sure the emotional stress for those individuals as well. So if we work with you now, Jules, hopefully our friends out there can potentially tap along and get and reap some benefit as we know the borrowed benefits from some of those shared experiences. So with regards to that earlier childhood memory, you mentioned that you had someone to tap with you around that already. Do you?
Yeah.
So you're feeling okay with that particular memory?
Yeah.
So if you think about November, obviously last year, only a few months ago, and is there one particular day that you can think of where you were really feeling very stressed or very?
I think I was reading some of the stuff on Facebook, and it was, and the thing I remember was it's too late to leave. You know, like if it gets to this point when it's too late to leave.
Yeah.
And I was just imagining, I mean, it wasn't me, but I was just imagining, you know, like young families with dogs and horses and, you know, because it was kind of more those rural areas that were affected, and like all of a sudden it's too late to leave. And I had a lot of trouble with that kind of,
that thinking and that urgency of can't do anything more.
Yeah, and thinking, it could happen to us too. Like, what if I didn't hear the notification and all of a sudden it was too late to leave and the fire was there? And that's something that I've tapped with clients on as well.
Yeah. Well, I remember you actually putting a post up of the emblem. Was that one that you did on the road? And I was like, oh my God, just the close, and that in itself can create.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just thinking about reading on Facebook, it's too late to leave, although it wasn't within your area, but imagining it was you.
Yeah.
So just thinking about that, what's the emotion that's coming up for you?
I guess in thinking, in sort of trying to put myself back there, it's sort of like just fear, I guess. Like you just sort of feel like, or even just watching on Facebook, like watching some of the videos, I think would be a better example. Like you watch the videos of the very big flames, and I would be thinking, how are they ever going to put those fires out?
Yeah, okay. And so is there one particular day that you remember looking at the video and going, oh my gosh, how are they ever going to manage that? How are they going to put those fires out?
Yeah, I can think of that. Yep.
And that was in November?
It could have been December, actually. Could have been after the threat was not imminent for us anymore. I think. Yeah.
And so you mentioned it's fear that's coming up for you now when you're thinking about looking at those videos?
Yeah.
And where's the fear coming up for you? Where's it showing in your body?
Just a bit in the tummy.
Tummy, okay.
I can feel a bit of fear in my tummy.
Yep. And just so we know whether our tapping is working and where we need to approach things, from 0 to 10, with 0 being you're actually feeling okay, 10 being that fear is so intense.
Well, it's probably around a 5.
5, okay.
Not really active now.
All right. So Jules, if I say anything that doesn't land, or if anything else comes up, if this is linked to anything else, we can certainly tap on that. But for the purpose of this, we'll do a few rounds, 1 or 2 rounds, just for people to get a sense for what that looks like. So just repeating after me, even though, just remembering looking at those videos on Facebook.
Just remembering looking at those videos on Facebook.
In December. Those flames were so high.
Those flames were so high.
And I'm wondering, how are they going to put those fires out?
And I'm wondering, how are they going to ever put those fires out?
And just thinking about that video footage.
And just thinking about that video footage.
I feel this fear in my tummy.
I feel this fear in my tummy.
I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel.
I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel.
Even though just thinking about watching that video footage on Facebook.
Even though just thinking about watching that video footage on Facebook.
Those flames were so high.
Those flames were so high.
How are they going to put those fires out?
How are they going to put those fires out?
And just thinking about those fires,
Just thinking about those fires,
that video footage,
that video footage,
I feel this fear in my tummy.
I feel this fear in my tummy.
I deeply and completely accept myself and all my emotions.
I deeply and completely accept myself and all my emotions.
Even though just thinking about that video footage on Facebook,
Even though just thinking about that video footage on Facebook,
the severity of those fires,
the severity of those fires,
the flames were so high.
the flames were so high.
I was thinking, how are they going to put those fires out?
I was thinking, how are they going to put those fires out?
And just thinking about seeing that footage,
Just thinking about seeing that footage,
I feel this fear in my tummy.
I feel this fear in my tummy.
I deeply and completely accept myself and all my emotions.
Deeply and completely accept myself and all my emotions.
Top of the head, this fear in my tummy.
This fear in my tummy.
Side of the eyebrow, this fear in my tummy.
This fear in my tummy.
Side of the eye, this fear in my tummy when I think about that video footage.
This fear in my tummy when I think about that video footage.
This fear in my tummy when I think about how high those flames were.
This fear in my tummy when I think about how high those flames were.
This fear in my tummy.
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 So just taking a little breath in for me, Jules. Thinking about that video footage.
I started thinking about that koala story.
Oh,
About that lady that saved those koalas.
what an amazing woman. What an
I
amazing
know,
woman.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we would
Just
then...
running around in her bra, saving koalas. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So what we would then do if we were working a little bit more on this is explore that, but also just go back to that video footage and really bringing that 5 out of 10 fear that you were holding in your tummy, bringing that down, but then also seeing what's with that, seeing that woman with the koalas and starting to tap on that if there was something there for you as well.
Yeah. But that actually feels like a nicer way to think about it. Like,
The positives.
The positives. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that helped. There'd be certainly a lot more work to be done around that for a lot of people, but something that you personally experienced. So thank you so much for sharing that, Jules.
No worries. And of course, we're always going for a 0 to 2 out of 10, but this is just a little
example,
a little snippet. Yeah,
absolutely.
An example. Thank you, Katie.
Wonderful. Okay. We'll see you all soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.